You! What's going on, Northview students? My name is Micah. I have the privilege and the honor of serving as our high school pastor here at our Carmel Campus. I'm joined today by the one, the only,
that we know of,
Mr. Matt Siewart. And if you guys don't know Matt serves as the worship pastor here at our Carmel Campus. And how long have you been the worship pastor here?
just over 3 years.
Tell me a little bit about just like your journey to Northview, getting into becoming a worship pastor. What was your journey like of growing into the man, the husband, the worship pastor that you are today?
Yeah, I think like a lot of things, we have kind of our plan or reasons why we do things, and then God is always at work like behind the scenes. And so for me, the idea of leading worship definitely feels like from a very early age, it was a sweet spot of gifts that God had given me. And for a long time, I used them in ways that were maybe a little less eternal in their motivation. But over time, what I've realized is that I feel like for every one experience of worship that maybe God uses through me to encourage someone else, there are 10 times where it's a song or a scripture that I needed to sing and proclaim over my own life. And so it's kind of just been like God's sneaky way to like sanctify me through worship, to be honest. And I don't say that to sound spiritual, but I really do think that our gifts are designed to obviously grow and develop us, but also to bring Him glory. And so I grew up in a home where my mom was on the worship team for as long as I could remember. She would bring me to rehearsals rather than like getting a babysitter.
Yeah.
It was modeled for me in an early age that it wasn't just this box that we check, but it's really more of a lifestyle. And so I think the challenge for me has just been taking what I know about God in my head and translating it into something that actually impacts the way that I live in the day-to-day.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of been the theme of my journey, is just surrendering to the fact that God cares way more about the heart than the appearance. And worship has just been a really powerful way for me to get to help other people do that. Yeah.
That's really good, man. That's cool. You know, Matt, I want to talk to you just a little bit today just about that idea of like, what is worship? Because I feel like for so many of us, and I think if we're being really honest, we feel this like pressure to have it figured out. You know what I mean? We live in an Instagram selfie world where everyone puts out their best, and we feel like if we're not putting out the best of ourselves, if we're not putting out the fact that we have the answers, then something is wrong with us.
So it's interesting you set it up that way, because I do think that we live in a culture where there's a lot of self-sufficiency. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to be an individual, when really our true identity as far as God is concerned is found in surrendering our identity to our identity in Him, right? So it's super counterintuitive, although I do feel like people myself included, are growing more and more discontent with like kind of the veneer or the filter culture, right? Because we all know what's really going on behind it. So for me, you know, I've been guilty in the past of doing exactly what you just talked about, where you try to hide behind maybe it's your status or your accomplishments, and we use all these things to get to God that don't ultimately last. And it's kind of like Adam and Eve in the garden when they're hiding, and you read that and you go, well, are you really trying to hide from God? Right. It's not like He can't see you.
Right.
And they knew that, but I feel like I've been guilty of that same thing before. Rather than just being honest with God about where I'm at and who I am, I sometimes keep Him at arm's length, and then I wonder, why am I not changing? Why is my life not looking any different? And I think it's in that surrender and trusting that Jesus actually does want to heal those parts about us. I think that's where worship becomes real, because you experience it in your heart and not just in your head. And that's been a big part of how worship has just impacted me personally.
So that's really good. What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel.
Leave a like, subscribe, and see you guys next time.
See ya.